The surprise China brokered deal that restored diplomatic relations between Iran and Saudi Arabia shows the enhancement of China's diplomatic stature in the Middle East, rising above the position of being the largest economic partner of the most nations in the region. While Iraq and Oman had also been involved in the mediation since 2016, the agreement was finally signed in Beijing after 4 days of talks. Ties have been re-established between the two countries, and embassies are set to reopen within 2 months, and a meeting between their foreign ministers is also planned. China's senior diplomat Wang Yi said these successful negotiations are a victory for dialogue and peace. And for China, he said, the talks are an example of what can be achieved under the global security initiative proposed by Chinese President Xi Jinping. China's efforts were also supported by the international community. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres welcomed the deal. Pakistani Foreign Minister said the deal shows the leadership role that China is playing on the world stage, focused on uniting rather than dividing, encouraging disputes resolutions rather than perpetual disputes. Well, down the road, the future of Middle Eastern countries is in their own hands, escaping the U.S. long-term jurisdiction.
China and countries in the Middle Eastern region respect one another and are equals. China is not superior to others and does not interfere in other countries' internal affairs. The Biden administration, on the other hand, reduced its investment in the Middle East to the lowest since the Cold War. More importantly, the withdrawal of American troops from Afghanistan and the abandonment of the pro-American Afghan government are also a telling lesson to Biden's regional allies about the unreliability of the United States.
Last December, President Xi attended the first China-Arab State Summit in the Saudi capital Riyadh. During the event, the parties agreed to build what they described as a China-Arab community with a shared future in the new era, meaning closer economic and political cooperation. China's Arab policy paper from 2016 still provides a good reference for the country's priorities in the region. The key is the 1+2+3 cooperation pattern. Energy cooperation is at the core. Infrastructure construction and trade and investment facilitations are the two wings, and breakthroughs are anticipated in the areas of nuclear energy, space satellites, and green development. Naturally, there is a gap between vision and implementation, and China is still in the capacity building phase. Still, it is important to acknowledge China's strategic position in the field of conflict resolution. The recent proposal for a peace process to end the Ukraine crisis is just the latest example of efforts in that direction. Amid rising tensions with the U.S., Beijing remains very active and increasingly effective in its outreach in the Middle East. Well, I was honored to witness another one of China's diplomatic victories in the Middle East region, where the U.S. has long been the dominant power broker. Well, the hope is that what follows now is more cooperation and trade and less conflict and weapon sales.